Pa Ayo Adebanjo, who died at the age of 96, was one of Nigeria's foremost federalists, a pro-democracy activist, and a social justice campaigner. He dedicated his life to the advancement of social justice in Nigeria through various groups and structures. He played leading roles in Afenifere, the National Democratic Coalition, and the Obedient movement. Both Afenifere and the coalition were founded as a response to the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. He was Papa, just Papa, to many of us. Well, looking at his life, his impact, and his legacy with us this morning, I'd like to welcome Mr. Akin Oshuntoku, Director General of the Obi-Datti Presidential Campaign Council. Good morning.
Good morning.
Long time no see.
Yeah, the country is tough, so you have to be on your toes. But let me quickly make a correction that Afenifere was not formed in reaction or response to the annulment of the election.
Nadeko was.
Yeah, yes. Afenifere actually was the name that was given to Action Group. Action Group was founded in 1951. So that is Yoruba appellation.
Oh, okay.
So it's synonymous with Action Group.
Yes.
Afenifere is synonymous with Action Group.
Exactly.
For those who don't understand. Yes.
In short.
Exactly.
For those who don't understand, what does Afenifere mean?
Afenifere is a left-of-center political pressure group, or most like party. Now, there's a bit of difficulties for which the status quo in Nigeria is responsible. The concept of a political party in Nigeria is that it must be nationwide, you must do this, you must do that, to qualify, to pre-register. You don't do that in an emergent democracy. If you want to form your party and you have capacity to have that party in only Ekiti State, the normal thing is that, okay, go ahead. I mean, you are going to spend your money, you are going to, so, unlike saying that, look, you must, when AD was formed, the Alliance for Democracy, when it was formed in 1998, it didn't fulfill the criteria for registration, right? But because the then military government wanted the full participation of the Yoruba in that election, they waived, some of the conditions that you must have a presence, you must have an office, and you must have all over the federation.
So you're saying that we should cascade party levels from states, regions to national. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I mean, there should be free entry, free exit. Giving conditions for registration, that's a military mentality. I mean, when we were in those days, First Republic, Chiko Obi has a party that was almost a one-man party. I think they call it Dynamic Party or something.
So from what you said earlier now, if you just wanted to confine your party to Ekiti State, you should be allowed to register, but you know that you are only going to be able to contest in local government elections and state elections. Sure. You will not be able to put forward somebody for the presidency, for instance, because you know that you don't have the spread to be able to garner enough support.
Yeah, that's allowed. That's how parties should be.
Okay.
And it comes, as I said, it is called free entry, free exit.
Okay.
Look, you have to also take into consideration that people are rational, right? If I said I'm going to form a party in Ekiti State, for instance, and at the end of the day I couldn't win more than you failed in the election repeatedly, so Will anybody need to tell you?
Just sit in your house quietly.
Let's talk about Pa Adebanjo. His impact and legacy is definitely not something that can be forgotten. We in the news, we know a thing or two, but tell us some things that make him iconic for you that the younger generation should always bear in mind.
Well, there is one concept paper or thesis that Max Weber is usually referred to as the founder of Western sociology. So he wrote a paper, the early 20th century. He called it Politics as a Vocation, right? That in Nigeria, there are very, very few people that qualifies for that, right? To be seen as to take. Essentially, what he was saying there was that politics, you should not expect instant gratification syndrome. You shouldn't even expect to make money from it. You must believe in the cause that you are doing and following and not expect to be rewarded by it. That you must feel convinced. So the other name they call vocation is calling. There's something that is your calling, right? Like maybe you are a reverend father, that you take to naturally. So, people like Awolowo embodied that kind of, and only a bit lower, scale. Chief Adebanjo also will pass as a professor, a politician who took politics as a vocation. More so in his own case. He never, although he had been with Awolowo right from the beginning, and he could have exploited the relationship to get a lot of, if he wants to seek elective forces, he could have gotten it. If he wanted to serve under government, he could have gotten it. But Smith is very peculiar about his own case. So he neither contested election, nor get appointment. Is unique in that respect. He was solely focused, on politics. He's synonymous with politics. If you know him well, 24 hours a day, we all go there, it's on and on. And of course, he was used to hearing his views on audiovisual, TV, several, on the PT. He was always doing that. So you see, that is what he personalized the qualities of those who embrace politics as a vocation. Of course, that is very telling. In a country like Nigeria, that the opposite is the case. People go into politics to make money, to more or less, power and money. So that's why, of course, he reflects on society, and that's the reason the country is not making progress. Now, for instance, I come across many people, they say, no, I can't do politics. So I don't know. Okay, you see, so I tell them that, okay, you are saying, what essentially you are saying is that you cannot play politics this way. Now, the overwhelming experience that Nigerians have of politicians is terrible, right?
True.
If you were to do an opinion poll in Nigeria today, asking people what is their opinion of Nigerian politicians, you are likely going to get 99% say they are rogues. So this is but it was an exception to that rule. Yeah.
There has to be a way to protect his legacy.
Yeah, sure.
So what are the plans?
Well, first of all, it's going to get buried, and although we didn't plan it as such, but it is going to serve that purpose now. We planned a public symposium, which took place a week ago. But we had, long before he died, we had wanted to do it. So when he then died, it was so, why don't we And then, of course, it was around his birthday April 10th. So why don't you use those sentiments that, okay, he's no longer around. We have a program, in which, for which vicariously he was responsible. Because the idea was to, enlighten the public more about Afenifere. You asked me the question, for instance, what does it? So, I mean, no, she made a point that it was reaction to the annulment of the. No, not at all. It has been long in existence, but it's also peculiar in the respect that, during the interregnum between military rule and civil democratic rule, the long, and until the Fourth Republic, the number of years that the military was in power to the civil, it was about in ratio of almost 2 to 1. And in 1999, we have had military rule of 13 plus 7. Well, in any case, far longer that you have. But since Afenifere was never registered as a party, so then you have the latitude to meet, even though at a low tempo, to continue with your activities. So it has also served that purpose. That while former political activities are banned, Afenifere can, under the guise of a political pressure group, can go, and that's how it has endured.
Okay. But you said he's going to be buried.
Yes.
When was the
May
program out?
May 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
But there is a night of tributes on the 30th of May, here in Lagos.
30th of May or April?
30th of April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Adebanjo advocated for restructuring and true federalism, probably all through his political life. How much do you think that is affecting political discourse now?
Well,
is it enduring?
Well, Nigeria has lost, in the categories that you highlighted earlier, has been unique to him. Politician, activist, so on and so forth. So, and he doesn't do things in half measure. So Nigeria is going to miss his passion, and commitment. It's very rare to find a man at his level, right? To have the kind of unwaning passion, for what he believes in. And God was kind enough to grant him a long life. So we had anybody in Nigeria, that this man, stands for something. Is more or less an encyclopedia of Nigerian politics from 1951, because he was one of the foundation members of the Action Group, and of course, is so committed. He doesn't do things in half measure. If he has a task or what a challenge, that he wants to take up, that's why he carries his own phone. So and then some of us are say, look, why are you carrying your phone? There are some people calling you that you can't. Exactly. He said, no, anybody who can get, is reporter's delight. It was a reporter's delight. There has been no occasion when a reporter or anybody will go to him that he will not oblige. And he will not oblige him. So you are going to have the vacuum, of somebody who readily, expresses, what he believes, without regard for what anybody may say. I mean, so long as it's a noble cause, it's some, it's very
Before
focused.
we go back to the arrangements for his final rites, oh dear. Pa Adebanjo was an obedient, and that shocked a lot of people. Afenifere, Awu East, and he's lining up behind an Igbo man.
Precisely, that's what Afenifere stands for. It's not that, don't say like, well, I'm sure you are being sarcastic. It wasn't lining up.
Well, I'm not, I mean, you know what I mean.
Exactly.
He's supporting.
What you are saying. Well, that's a reflection of the fact that he is not a tribalist or a Yoruba particularities or things like that. So, the vision, I hope you see it as a positive, that he was able to do that. Was because it was the right thing to do for the country, right? Well, I write a column for this day. For the past 10 years, one of the constant themes in my column is why the presidency should go to the Southeast. Everything good supports it. Equity, unity, stability is in support of that thing. Like anything that is correct, you can't go wrong with it unless you do it. So I had been a campaigner for that. And it resulted, the immediate background was the fact that this power rotation principle, between the North and the South. Now, it was the turn of the South, the last time. So the principle that that says that this presidency should go to the South this time also applies to the South. So there are 3 zones in the South. So if we want to apply the logic of North-South, then among the 3 zones in the South, the zone that qualifies for it the most is the Southeast. So, and that is the essence of principle, is when it tests your capacity to, when it is not convenient for you to do so, right? This was what I mean, so he is, anybody who knows him, people may pretend otherwise, but that was the right position to take at that time. And that was why you had many members of the younger generation flocking to that, the obedience. So people whose mind have not been poisoned or corrupted.
Okay, so May 2nd and 3rd, what is going to happen?
Well, there's going to be, the wake keep is in Ijebu on April, on May 2nd, right? Then there is the church ceremony and burial the following day at Ijebu Ogo as well. So the night of tribute is on 30th and is going to hold at a hotel convention center.
Okay. So is it an all-comers affair? Anyone is available? Anyone who can should come? Sure,
yes. It was people's mind.
Okay.
They're welcome. I mean, he was a grassroots person. That's what he himself would have recommended.
Well, anything else you'd like to tell us?
Well, to always remember him for the good, that he has done to the country when he was alive. It should be an inspiration to those coming behind that law. Here was a man that, even though he has a lot, if he wanted to do it, he would have done it. He never contested for any election. If he wanted, look, in Ijebu, there was no way he would contest election. And you would know exactly. First, at the base of Awolowo himself. And of course, you know, appointment. He never had any appointment on any board, right? Don't let me, he's on the board of Tribune. But generally, he didn't take any political appointment, you know, and it was also, and his passion never wavered, you know, in what he was doing. So we also have a lot to learn from him. But one of the things we have to learn from him is, well, he's also stubborn.
Well, we've heard over time that a bit of stubbornness is always good for development. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're welcome.
Well, just before we go, we have just this one mail that says, in fact, it's just one sentence from Boluwaji Ujimusa. He wanted true federalism, full stop.
True federalism?
Yes.
How does he do?
That's what this person has said.
Well, because that was the most idea or mission that Chief Adebanjo was committed to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Akin Oshotokun, Director General of the Obi-Datti Presidential Campaign Council.
Some of your people, they will say former.
Oh.
They will say former director.
Are you former?
Well, I don't know. But,
but you are formal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sunrise will return in just a moment. Do stay with us.